Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's going on, good people? I'm going to be doing something a little different today. Going to be doing a reaction video. One of my subscribers put something in the comment section. It said Joe Biden's most racist moments. So I watched the first 5 seconds of it, and it was a doozy. And I just stopped it and said, you know what? I'm going to do a live reaction video to that. That's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to be pulling up the clip that he sent me. And y'all get to see my confused face when I'm trying to find something or remember. There it is. Trying to remember where I put something so I can pull it up and we can get this thing started. Yes, it's every racist moment from Joe Biden. Now, Donald Trump no doubt got some doozies, but we about to dig into Sleepy Joe. See what Sleepy Joe said. I probably have seen some of these, but I do know, I am confident that I'm fairly behind on some of these. A lot of these I know I haven't seen, because the very first one that I heard that really truly prompted me to do this video, I hadn't seen it. So there's that. So we're about to get into it. I think you could probably see it up on the screen right now in StreamYard. You should be able to. And you can. You just can't see me. There I go. All right. Quit being stupid. All right. Here we go. We're about to roll the footage. Oh, I gotta put an earpiece in too, so I can hear what's going on. Got to put in an earpiece so I can hear what Sleepy Joe talking about. All right, we about to roll it. About to roll that beautiful bean footage. All right, let's go.
Somehow, if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Now, I'd never heard that one before, but that's the one that that prompted me to say, okay, I'm going to do a live reaction on this bad boy. That's bad. Now, already going in, I already know a lot of these is just going to be like, he just misspoke. But, you know, the whole Freudian slip, subconsciously, he creates poor with black and poor and stupid with black, not poor and bright with white. Yeah. Bad play, Joe. Bad play.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean, and nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Unlike the African.
Now, it was funny. I'm gonna try not to stop it and react and do a and get my commentary on all of them. But what's funny about that one is that I remember when that comment was originally made about Obama, but at the time, you know, at that time early on, we was just getting to know Obama. So, you know, Joe Biden, I knew who he was, but I didn't, you know, he wasn't on my radar like that. I knew who he was. We obviously knew who Obama was. He was running for president. We was just getting to know Obama. So we didn't know that much about Joe. So I remember that comment. It just seeped out of my mind that, oh, that was Joe that said that, you know, the guy that he nominated for vice president. It slipped my mind by the time he made him vice president. But interesting. All right. I'm gonna let them roll. I'm gonna let them roll.
I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It's all right. All right. The "you ain't black" one. I mean, we've talked about that on the show, and we talked about how the Democrats, got ownership over black folks. We know that, and a lot of my cohorts here online are pushing back very strong against that. So we're on the front lines fighting against that one. How they've taken ownership of black people when it comes to voting. I think, well, they still got black women. But as we're finding out, like with everything with Ice Cube, everything that's going on, we know that they don't have black men as strong as they thought they did. Some polls have said up to 25 to 30% of black men are trending GOP. I do believe it might be higher. It might be 35 to 40. But I don't know. I don't know that. But we've seen the polls. This is saying anywhere from 25 to 30% could be trending GOP. A lot of black men are tired of the Democrats. So, but he made that statement on Charlemagne's show. I just watched the clip where Charlemagne was, had the cape on for black liberal feminist, and he's a black liberal male feminist. So clearly Joe Biden saying that comment to him should not have been a big deal because, look at the numbers in which black women vote Democrat. I don't see how they could have that much disagreement with that. But black men are starting to say, no, we're not just falling in line with the Democrats. So that's a thing. The other comment when he said, the Latino community is diverse, but all you Negroes are pretty much just the same. Only excuse I could possibly do for that one is if he's talking about the way black people vote. That's the only excuse I could possibly give for that one.
It's an indicator of taking black people for granted. It's a way of saying, we got y'all. It's a way of saying, I can be overconfident because I know that you guys always vote Democrat.
Yeah, this brother is explaining pretty much just what I was just explaining, but yep, carry on.
I can predict how you guys are going to vote. And I know that you guys have already bought into the narrative that Trump is racist, right? So as long as I'm not Trump, I can do whatever I want to do. I can say whatever I want to say, and I don't have to worry about you and any of your concerns and being intelligent enough to speak to your concerns intelligently.
Now, you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
And I can tell you, as someone who was a little brown girl.
Was that a black audience he was talking to? Well, why would he make the back in chains? Trying to look at, you got to gather evidence of whether or not that was a black audience he was talking to. Man, if that audience was just 30% black, whew, that was a doozy. But he got to be talking about black people because nobody else was in chains in this country. God damn, Joe.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
And I can tell you, as someone who was a little brown girl, I found Joe Biden's words very condescending indeed. And I think a lot of other brown girls would have felt the same way.
I think the two-party system, although my Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this, I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
Biden saw it.
Okay, the brown girl thing. I just think that was just him just shooting his shot. You know, I think didn't Bill O'Reilly say something to a black chick working at Fox News, and he say something like I like a little coffee or something like a little chocolate. You know, I don't get some milk in your coffee or some bullshit like that. I mean that's just old men shooting a shot at young women. So that one I don't I don't make that one out to be as racist. Just more so, I don't know. I wouldn't there. He's more than likely just shooting his shot, playing on the racial aspect of it, you know. But anyway.
The fact that they still call me boy, I don't think they've.
Negro good for the. No. This is younger Joe saying this.
Good for the Negro, good for the black.
I was trying to read it to make sure I got a full.
A lot of other brown girls would have felt the same way.
I think the two-party system, although my Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this, I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race.
You said surprising. Surprising in what way?
Well, the fact that he would solicit the support of staunch segregationists, James Eastland, as well as Jesse Helms.
In terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans that were these Shylocks who took advantage.
Specifically, have you taken a cognitive
No,
test?
I haven't taken the test. Before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not? What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who...
Why in this nation do black Americans wake up knowing that they could lose their life in the course of just living their life? They gotta know we're listening. Now is the time for racial justice. We have such an opportunity now to change people's lives for the better. It's about who we are, what we believe, and maybe most importantly, who we want to be.
When I marched in the Civil Rights Movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else. I was, in fact, very concerned about the Civil Rights Movement. I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. I was involved. I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling. I was in law school. I wore sport coats. I was not part of that. I'm serious. I'm not big on flak jackets and tie-dye shirts and, that's not me.
More than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the Civil Rights Movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood and kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea of civil rights, but was not actually marching in the streets. But that would not fly as much. But he was supporting civil rights. But I'm saying that in today's transparent age of Twitter, okay.
I know, you're just telling what they said.
Right,
but
in the age of Twitter today, Instagram, there would be pictures of him not marching. So you cannot get away with that in this moment. So that's his big challenge.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
I do want to ask you about one thing that you've said repeatedly on the trail. I think it's 3 times now. You said that during a visit to South Africa, to visit Nelson Mandela, which I know is a very memorable visit for you, that you were arrested when you were there. Your campaign has come out since and said, no. You were separated from other people at the airport, but you did say arrest three times. Why?
Well, what I meant to say was, I was not able to move. I guess I wasn't arrested. I was stopped. I was not able to move where I wanted to go.
I was a kid from suburbia. I lived out in Mayfield in a split-level home, but I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. You didn't know any white people either. That's the truth. And I was the only white employee here. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pulls. He was the mechanic, and he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you made...
He drunk, man. He got to be drunk. Okay. All right.
He cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. So I walked out with the chain. I said, first of all, I'm just
looking at the black kids behind him. They just like, what the fuck is going on? Didn't mean to cuss. I wasn't supposed to cuss in this one. Shit. Shoot. All right, I ruined it. Okay. All right. The black kids behind him are just looking like they're just hopeless to try to. They're just there. I think it was more of them, and it looked like they just got distracted, and some of them have just ran off to go play. It was more kids when the shots first started.
I tell you, get off the board, you get off the board, I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you, Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, close the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again. So I learned about roaches.
President, in talking about the continuing recession tonight, you have blamed mistakes of the past. You blamed the Congress. Does any of the blame belong to you?
Yes, because for many years I was a Democrat.
All right. It was bad, but wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was. I mean, listen, where I've long been at with this, I'll give some commentary and wrap this up. Where I've long been at with it, we're talking about old white men. I don't want to just simply say, oh, they're all racist, but they all got, I mean, we're talking about old white men. There's a certain level of bias and prejudice that's going to be embedded into an old white man, and it's only dependent on his personality how much of that is just going to come out when he's talking. So Democrat or Republican, it don't matter on that. I mean, I'm sure if I did the same thing with Trump, which I might do, I'm going to get just as many, if not more, doozies out of Trump. And like I said, with black men, we have our problems with the Democrats. You know, you're voting with the Democrats, you're voting with black. You vote. Try not to get too deep into Black Lives Matter right now, but we know to deal with that. How they said their goal is to tear down the patriarchy and all kind of stuff like that. And I mean, you one side you're going to vote with black feminists. The other side you're going to vote with the Tiki Torch posse. There's no exact, I mean, it's bad with each one. So it's taking the good with the bad. That's something that we talked about in my last stream on the live show that you can go check out if you haven't seen it. It's going to be good with the bad, but overall, I mean, I don't even want to make this about I don't even want to make this about who we vote for. I just want to do a reaction video, a live video, a pre-recorded video where I just looked at that and just did my off-the-cuff reaction to it. And we saw it, and it is what it is. Some of it, a little bit of it I have seen, some of that I hadn't seen. And it is what it is. You know, Sleepy Joe is Sleepy Joe. He's sleepy. And he says, and he's going to say some racist stuff. It does matter more, you know, his policy and his ideas and all of that. You know, we talk about the crime bill a lot on the last show. Part of me, you know, felt like Democrats' heart was in the right place. They wanted to clean up the crime in the black community, but you know, it bombed. It bombed. It blew up in their face, blew up in our face. So there's that. But yeah, but that's that's the reaction video, and it is what it is. Just wanted to roll some beautiful bean footage of Joe Biden's greatest hits. And that's that. That is that. And we just had some moments of dead air. See what happens when you go live? When you do it live, like Bill O'Reilly, you make mistakes. So I'm making mistakes on my way out. But be that as it may, I'd like to thank everybody for listening today. Hit the like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I appreciate it. Let's I think that covers it. And we out. And I don't know how to end the stream. It won't end. I'm being held hostage. End. There it is.